Welcome back to the crib. This is my to-be-read list for my Spring Equinox semester for Orilium, created by Bookroast. Links down below in case you're curious. Kind of like D&D if D&D were a book challenge. The Orilium world really jump-started my absolute love of reading. I was reading books here and there, of course. I'll never completely stop reading, but I wasn't reading the way I used to, and doing these kinds of challenges helped restart me into it, so I really love them. So I'll leave timestamps down below so you can jump to parts of the video that you would like. But real quick, my character that I've created is named Rain. Yes, it's spelled exactly like the weather. Ironic considering the weather going on right now. That was not planned. She has a very interesting background, and the whole reason she is going to the academy is because she is absolutely convinced the academy is corrupt and that there are people hiding within it that may or may not have something to do with her father's murder. She is going to be working on becoming an illusionist rogue, and I actually had to write out what I was doing. I did lots of calculations to figure this out, but pretty much I have 3 books I'll be reading this month, which I think is actually pretty nice. 3 books isn't too bad. This is within my wheelhouse. I think I can do this, hopefully. But the very first one is going to be for the class of shapeshifting, and it is Whispers in Stone, and I have the Kindle of it. This is the second book in the Last Gift series, which is by Allegra Pescatore. I actually did a review for the very first book of this series, and I will link it up above. I absolutely love this series, and I'm really, really happy to be digging into the next book. And book 3 should be actually releasing later this year. Whispers in Stone is a continuation of the last book, which was all about pretty much a political uprising, where we had Eleanor, who had to come to the realization that the people she was following, the people she swore her life to, were not what she thought they were, and that she had to face reality, the reality of her kingdom, the reality of everything she was working for and working towards was a lie. And she did it. She worked against the people who were in power, and this book picks off right where the last one ended, in that the consequences for her choosing the side she did is the next mountain she must face, as well as everyone else who showed their alliance very clearly at the end also now has to lie with their consequences. And I am really excited to see what happens. Also, the Desert Kingdom, I'm guessing, might get involved at this point, and I'm very excited about that because war has kind of broken out. A god may or may not be dead. It seems like the god is dead. I thought that was a fake out, but I think the god is actually dead. So that's going to be really interesting because it means everyone's involved now. Absolutely everyone is involved. Even countries that say they weren't going to get involved are now forced to be involved in what's going on. So I am interested to see what happens next. I'm very excited for this one. I also have an Audible, because of course I do. And I have the Audible of Bloodlike Magic by Liselle Sambury. I'm pretty sure they are on this platform because I'm subscribed. I'm almost positive. Let me double check my subscriptions. Yes, I am. Right there at the top. Oh, awesome. So I will link both, all of the books I will link down below, and if these people have accounts, I will also link their accounts, websites, if I can hunt that stuff down. So I'll leave all of those links down below. So check the description box if you're curious about any of this stuff. But I am doing the Audible of this, and that is going to count as my illusion class, Art of Illusion class, because it has a trope that I like, in that I'm not going to fall in love with you, I'm going to kill you. I don't know if that's a trope. Is that a trope? I don't know, but I personally like it. Bloodlike Magic is about a young girl who, once she comes of age, she needs to wait for her calling, in which her ancestors will give her a task, and depending on the outcome of that task and how she does will determine whether or not she gets a gift, a magical gift, to become a witch. And her task is to kill her first love, which I love that idea. This is dark urban fantasy, and it is dark. I will 100% warn. Mind the tags. The book starts out with tag warnings. Please pay attention to those. it's a pretty dark urban fantasy. I am really excited about this next one though. For my class on divination, I am going to be reading Binti, and this is by Nedi Okorafo. I'm probably pronouncing that with way too much of a slight Japanese accent, so my apologies for that. I am really excited about this one. One, because it's a sci-fi. Two, because this is very heavily recommended. I've been meaning to read this for a really long time. So this is about a woman who goes to a university. It is the finest institution of highest learning, but to accept the offer means giving up her place in her family to travel between the stars amongst strangers who do not share her ways or respect her customs. Knowledge comes at a cost. So I really love that whole idea. It's a very short book. It's under 100 pages, so this probably could have worked for some other challenges as well. But I've heard nothing but praise for this book, high praise. So I'm incredibly interested. I can't wait. Pretty much, I'm just excited for everything. I'm excited for all of these books. I'm very happy with my little list here. It's only 3 books, but I'm excited. About the only thing I'm worried about is that, yeah, according to my notes, fall semester I'll have to read 5 books in order to graduate. I'm a full-time employed teacher, so I'm not sure if I can handle that, but we'll see. We'll see. I know that these things, you are permitted to read shorter things, like comic books and whatnot, so it's possible that I will end up reading some comic books to kind of fill some gaps. We will see. But none of the other occupations were much better. I actually think that the Illusionist Rogue costs the less amount of books out of all of the prompts. I do kind of wish there were more callings that allowed lesser prompt types. I noticed some people, they're like, well, then it's not a challenge. But for some of us, it is a challenge just to read a single book because we all are full-time employed too. And it is difficult for us to even get through one book, especially those of us who have attention problems. So I would really like there to be a little bit more variety with the difficulty level. I feel like the difficulty level is on intermediate right from the jump for this challenge. But outside of that, I am still really excited about this. I just wish there were a little bit more options for people who have a challenge reading. But yeah, I'm so excited about this list. But what about you guys? Are you guys reading anything for this particular challenge? Are you just reading any particular interesting books right now? I think it's really important for writers to never stop reading. I know we say that a lot, but I think it's really easy to get distracted with our writing and just completely cold turkey stop reading because we're so fixated on our task of writing. And I think that's really detrimental to our creative spirit. So challenges like this are a good opportunity for me to step back from my writing, get a better perspective, and then return in. Speaking of returning in, I'm going to shoot you over to future me, who has a little something to tell you. Mel is returning in May. We're going to be doing a massive revision event. Please click the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification, so you learn more information as soon as it becomes live. And I hope your time with us in May will be productive.